Okay, so I'm going to show y'all how to make cinnamon rolls. First, I buy the big things of yeast like this. So if you buy a big thing like this, you're going to want to measure out 7 grams of yeast. If you just buy the packets of yeast, that's totally fine too. Just buy, or just use 1 packet for this. Once you add your yeast to your bowl, you want to add a cup of warm milk, ideally around 100 degrees, but it should feel like warm bath water. And my fingers are clean. After you add your milk, you're gonna want to melt a 1/3 cup of butter. I like to cut it up like this because it helps it melt more evenly and faster. Once you've got your butter melted, add that to the bowl. After you've added your butter, you're gonna add 1/3 cup of sugar. Usually after you add the sugar, you will add 2 eggs. Room temp is better, but it doesn't really matter. But the people I'm making them for, her son has an egg allergy, so I'm going to sub 1/2 cup of yogurt instead of doing 2 eggs. So if you're making them for somebody or you have an egg allergy, you can sub 1/4 cup of just plain Greek yogurt for each egg that you use. Now that we've got all of our wet ingredients added, we're gonna add our dry ingredients. So first we're gonna do 4 cups of all-purpose flour. And after you add your flour, we're gonna do a teaspoon of salt. Do not forget this part, because if you do, they will taste very yeasty and not good. So once you've got the flour and the salt mixed in, it should look something like this. And after it looks like this, we're gonna turn it out onto our counter and knead it with our hands. Okay, now we're gonna knead our dough on the counter with our hands. I like to put a good bit of flour down first before I turn it out onto the counter. And then I like to put a little bit on top of the dough too, that way it doesn't stick to my hands too bad. So then we're just gonna start kneading it. Gonna push, turn, fold it over, push it down with the palm of your hand. That's how I like to do it. There's really no right or wrong way to knead. Just as long as you get the same end result, it's fine. You just want it to be all together. You saw how it looked in the bowl. It was very shaggy looking, falling apart. We don't want it to be like that. I'll show you in just a second. Keep doing that. Turn, fold it over, push back out. Then it's kind of rectangular shape. Do it like that. Fold it, push down. And just keep doing that for a few minutes. Okay, after you get done kneading the dough, it should look something like this. You can press your finger into it and it should bounce back pretty good. Let's see if I can get a picture. See? Now we're gonna put our dough back in our bowl. You can do a new one, but for the sake of washing dishes, just put it back in the same one. It's fine. Put it in there, cover it with like a wet dish towel, or you can cover it with some saran wrap, and then we're gonna let it rest for an hour so it can rise in a warm place. I usually put mine in the microwave with the door open so the light's on, or you can put it in the oven with the light on too. Just don't forget, if it's in the oven, when you start preheating your oven, that it's in there. You'll want to take it out before you do that. While we're waiting the hour for the dough to rise, you can go ahead and make the filling for your cinnamon rolls. You'll need a stick of butter, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Ideally, we would have left this out and let it soften to room temperature, but I hardly ever do that, so we're just gonna heat it in the microwave until it gets soft. Once our butter is softened, we're gonna place that into the bowl first. If it'll come out. Next, after the butter, we're gonna add 1 cup of brown sugar, packed. After we add our brown sugar, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cinnamon.
Mom, I'm gonna punch your kitty first.
I like to stir mine up with a fork, and once you get done, it should look something like that, like a paste. Okay, so it's been an hour now, and this is what our dough looks like.
Mom, I wanna...
Okay, so I'm going to turn this out on our floured, lightly floured, not too much flour, surface, and I'm gonna roll it out. I'm just gonna lightly flour the top of this too so that the rolling pin doesn't stick. I'm gonna roll it out. I mean, if you're a perfectionist, you can measure this exactly, but I don't do that. I want it to be pretty thin.
Mom? Mama? Mom?
And once we get it rolled out, we will add our filling. This is what it should look like after you get it rolled out. Now that we've got it rolled out, we're going to add our filling. Some people do the butter spread on first and then they pour the sugar and the cinnamon. I don't like to do it like that because it gets everywhere. And I don't have any issues doing it like this. So. And this is what it should look like once you've got the filling on. So usually at this step, what you would do is roll it from this side, like starting at this side and roll it all the way across. And then you would cut it into 12 big rolls. But for this order, I am making the mini rolls. So we're gonna make 36 mini rolls and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so first I'm gonna make a cut like this all the way in half. Okay, once we've made that cut, I'm gonna cut it in half going this way now. Okay, so now we've cut it in half both ways, so it's got 4 individual pieces now. Now we're gonna cut this side into thirds and then this side into thirds. Okay, so this is what it looks like after that. And then each individual section will now be cut into thirds. Okay, so after we made all of our cuts, now we have 36 little pieces and it's time to roll them up. Okay, so now I'm gonna roll all of these up individually. That's what they look like. If you don't want them to like unravel when they bake, you can take this little tail end right here and you can put it underneath. And that kind of makes it hold its shape. And then we're just gonna do that to the rest of them. Okay, after you get them rolled out, they'll look something like this. Sometimes you'll have some ones that look like that. It's okay. They'll get ate anyways. So once you've got them rolled out and put in your pan, if you want to bake them the same day, cover them with a towel or some saran wrap and let them rise for another 30 minutes. Bake them at 350 for like 15 to 20 minutes. Really just depends on how you like them done. If you want them a little gooier, closer to 15. If you want them more done and browned, closer to the 20 mark. But you can judge that on your own. I am actually going to wrap these and put them in the fridge and bake them tomorrow morning. If you also want to do that and refrigerate them and bake them later, just make sure you take them out in time to bring them closer to room temperature. It should take, I don't know, probably somewhere between 2 to 4 hours. 2 or 3 hours is probably good enough to let them rest on the counter before you bake them. And you also can put them in the oven then start preheating it, and it'll help them rise a little bit better if you refrigerate them first. You don't have to do that if you're just gonna bake them from here. Okay, I forgot to video this part. So, this is the icing. You'll need 3 ounces of cream cheese, a 1/3 cup of butter. Both of those need to be room temperature. 2 cups of powdered sugar and 1/2 of a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Or you can use the imitation or the real kind, doesn't matter. It's very thick icing. I don't like it that thick. I like it more like a glaze, kind of like this consistency. So I usually add milk until I get the consistency that I want. If you like it thick, you can leave it without the milk. If you like it thinner like this, just add some milk to it after you mix it all together. So you want to mix the cream cheese and the butter first, get that incorporated well, and then add the powdered sugar, mix it, add the vanilla, mix it, and then just add milk to your preference. And after you make the icing, you're just going to top your rolls with it. These are just a 6 count that I made. Also, still waiting on these to warm up to bake those. But I like to put the icing on while the rolls are still hot. A lot of people say let them cool and then put the icing on, but I really like the icing to kind of get down in the roll. I think it's better that way. But these were cooled down a little bit more because that's just how things worked for me this morning. But there they are. I wanted to also show y'all the finished mini cinnamon rolls. These I did top the icing while they were still warm, and you can see how they just go down into the roll. They look really good.